So we are on to part 3. So this is the part where we start putting everything all together and really getting an idea of how to deal with all the tiny little parts. So just a quick review of how we ended the last video. We graphed the parent graph of y is equal to the square root of x. And then the negative in front was a vertical change, so we reflected that across the x-axis. And then the negative on the inside was a horizontal change, so we reflected it across the y-axis. So just like we wrote on our paper, and I'll move my picture out of the way, the example 4 was a reflection with respect to the x-axis. Example number 5 is a reflection with respect to the y-axis. Flying around this paper. All right. So let's talk about this in pieces. So reflections, if I have a negative on the outside, that is a vertical change, so that's going to flip it. So for example, a parabola, instead of opening up, the parabola is going to open down. So that's reflected with respect to the x-axis. If it's on the inside, then it's going to be a reflection with respect to the y-axis because it's a horizontal change. Trying to see where my thumb is here. So I want my thumb to move horizontally instead of vertically. When it comes to translations, that's adding or subtracting. So if I add or subtract on the outside, that's a vertical change, and it's just the way we see it. And in this case, C is representing a positive number. So if I add 2 to my parabola, that's moving it 2 units up. And if I subtract 1 from my parabola, that's translating it 1 unit down. And so what we see is exactly what we get. A positive is up, a negative is down. Now, if it's inside of the parentheses, that's different. That's a horizontal change, and anytime it's a horizontal change, we have work to do. So we've got to take that x plus 3 and set it equal to 0. So this actually translates it to the left 3 units because negative 3 is the value of x that makes that 0. Similarly here, x equal to 5 would make the parentheses 0, and that's positive, so we would translate that 5 units to the right. So you'll notice when it comes to the horizontal, it's going to be the opposite of what we see. When it was the vertical at the top, it was exactly the same. So expansions and compressions, if the number is outside the function, then it's a vertical change exactly the way we see it. So if the value is greater than 1, then we're stretching it or expanding it. We're going up faster. If the value is less than 1, again, not talking about negatives because those are reflections, then that means that we're going up slower and we're compressing the graph. So we're compressing it vertically, and the scale factor is exactly the same as what you see. So for the top one, the scale factor is 2, and for the bottom one, the scale factor is 1/2. Now that changes when we talk about horizontally. So you'll notice the scale factor changes to the reciprocal of C. So when we talk about that in the example, instead of the scale factor being 2, it's going to be the reciprocal of 2, which is 1/2. And since that's small, we're compressing it horizontally. If that number starts out small, then when I take the reciprocal of it to get my scale factor, I'm going to get a scale factor of 2. 2 is a large number, so we're expanding horizontally. So imagine it's like silly putty and we're stretching it, okay? And so then the last thing is if we have the absolute value around the function. So that means that we would graph the function the way we see it. And then anything that's below the x-axis gets reflected with respect to the x-axis so that when we're done, all my y values are either 0 or positive. We can't have any negative y values. So if we take a look at this, we want to describe the graph based upon the parent graph. So the first graph, the y equals x cubed, that is the parent graph. So the second one is talking about 2 translations. So the plus 1 is awesome. That's vertical. It's outside the parentheses. So I translated up 1 unit. But on the inside, we have to talk about what value of x would make those parentheses 0. So if I set x plus 3 equal to 0, that would be negative 3. So that means we have to go to the left 3 units and up 1 unit. So when we look at B, we've got a bunch of things involved here. I've got the negative on the outside, so that's a vertical reflection. I've got the 1/2 on the outside, so that's a vertical expansion or compression. And then I've got that x minus 2 on the inside, so that's a horizontal translation. So the negative on the outside is a vertical change, so I'm reflecting with respect to the x-axis. And then ignoring the negative, the 0.5 is a number less than 1, and it's vertical, so we're going to leave it alone. And since that's less than 1, we're going to compress vertically with a scale factor of 1/2 or 0.5. And then the value of x that makes the parentheses 0 is positive 2. And so we're going to move to the right 2 units. So anytime it's horizontal, we have work to do. So on this last one, the negative is on the inside of the radical. So that's going to be a horizontal reflection, which is across the y-axis. And then the minus 2 is outside of everything. So that's vertical, and it is what we see. And that's going to be translated down 2 units. So if you need to copy any of that, I would pause the video for a second. So if we take a look at the next ones, do we see that that 1/4 that I'm multiplying x by, that's inside of the radical. So we said that we had to take the reciprocal of that for our scale factor. So my scale factor is 4, which means that we're going to be expanding horizontally. So we're going to go wider faster. And then translated down 4 units because the negative 4 is outside of the radical, which makes it a vertical change, and it is what we see. So then for E, the value of x that makes the parentheses 0 is -3. So we have to translate to the left 3 units. And then any portion that's below the x-axis has to get reflected above the x-axis. So again, pause the video if you need to copy that. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and try examples 6 through 8 using the parent graphs. So looking at example number 6, the first thing we need to do is identify what is the parent graph. So you'll notice this little square up here. That means that my parent graph, I'll call that PG, is y is equal to x squared. So I'm going to take a moment to graph that. So we've got a vertex at 0, 0. To the right 1 squared is up 1. To the right 2 squared is up 4. To the right 3 from the vertex squared is up 9. Same thing to the left. To the left 1, the square of -1 is up 1. The square of -2 is up 4. And the square of -3 is up 9. So this is my parent graph. Okay. So the negative on the outside is telling me that that is a vertical change. So my vertical reflection is going to be across the x-axis. So we're going to reflect with respect to the x-axis. Okay. And then we're going to say, okay, what value of x makes my parentheses equal to 0? And so that is +1. So that means that we're going to translate to the right 1 because 1 is positive. And then finally, I have +1 on the outside. Vertical is exactly what it looks like. And so we're going to say and up 1 unit. Okay. So that means we're going to translate this to the right 1 and up 1. So that's going to be here. And then instead of opening up, we're going to open down. So to the right 1 would have been up 1. Now it's going to be down 1. And notice that's from my new vertex. To the right 2 would have been up 2. Now it's, would have been up 2 squared, which is 4. Now it's going to go down 4. And then I feel like that's too much. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Nope, that's right. And then to the right 3, 1, 2, 3 is going to go down 9. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, can't see. So that's going to come down here. And then same thing to the left, 1 down 1, to the left 2 is down 4, and to the left 3 is going to be down 9. And so let's make sure we've got this right. I've reflected it with respect to the x-axis, so that's why it's opening down. And I've translated it to the right 1 unit and up 1 unit. So other than that, it is the same as the parent graph. So take a look at example number 7. And so in this case, my parent graph is going to be y is equal to the absolute value of x. So that means however many steps I take to the positive or the negative, I'm going to go up the number of steps because it says don't go down. Y has to be positive. So my parent graph is going to start at 0, 0. And then 1 step to the right goes up 1, 2 steps to the right is up 2 because the absolute value of these are all positive, right? Same thing to the left. If I go to the left one, absolute value of -1 is 1, absolute value of -2 is 2, absolute value of -3 is 3. And so this is my parent graph. Okay, and I'm just dashing it because it's not part of my final answer. So take a moment to pause the video and talk about what is this 2 doing, what is this 2 doing, and what is this 3 doing. So see if you can write down here what is happening to the graph. So the 2 in front, it's outside of the absolute value. So that's going to be a vertical change. And we like vertical because the scale factor is going to be what it looks like. So my scale factor is 2. And since that's greater than 1, we can say we're expanding. We're going to go up faster. Expanding vertically by a scale factor of 2. Okay. And then here, the value of x that makes that 0 is going to be -2. Okay, so that means it's horizontal because it's inside of the absolute value. So I have to figure out what value of x makes that absolute value 0. And since that's -2, we are going to translate to the left 2 units. And then looking at the -3, that's outside of the absolute value, so that's vertical, and it is what it looks like. So negative for vertical is going to be down 3 units. Okay, so to the left 2 and down 3 is going to mean we're going to start here, and then when we move from that vertex, we're going to go up twice as fast. So to the right 1 would have been up 1, now we're going to be up 2. To the right 2 would have been up 2, but now it's going to be up 4. To the right 3 would have been up 3, but now it's going to be up 6. And so you'll notice instead of having a slope of +1, we now have a slope of +2. To the left 1 would have gone up 1, now it's going to go up 2. To the left 2 would have gone up 2, now it goes up 4. To the left 3 would have gone up 3, and now it goes up twice as fast, which is 6. And so we're going to get this as our final graph. So you'll notice we translated where did we go? 2 units to the left, 3 units down, and then our slope increased to +2 on the right and -2 on the left. So take a moment and see if you can graph this one. So notice the parent graph is going to be y is equal to the square root of x, and then go ahead and do all those things to that graph. Pause the video. All right, so my parent graph says every step we take the square root. So 1 step to the right, square root of 1 is 1. I don't know 2 and 3, but the square root of 4 is 2. And I don't know until I hit 9 that the square root of 9 is 3. I don't do any negatives because the square root of a negative is imaginary. So this is my parent graph. So the negative is on the outside. So that's a vertical reflection, which goes across the x-axis. So we're going to reflect with respect to the x-axis. And so now it's going to be opening down instead of opening up. So it's going to open down to the right. Then we have to figure out what value of x makes the radical equal to 0. So that means x is equal to -1, because anytime it's inside, it's a horizontal change. And horizontal means that we have work to do. So this is going to translate left 1 unit, and this -4 is on the outside, and so that's going to be down 4 because vertical is exactly what it looks like. So I'm going to start to the left 1 and down 4. And this says instead of